Good evening, everyone. Welcome to DSA Carnival 2021. I'm Isha and I will be hosting today's session. DSA Carnival is a 18-day boot camp where we will be covering all topics related to DSA from very basics to advanced. Today is the second day and topic for today is recursion and backtracking, which will be taught by our most loved Prateek Bhaiya. Many of you might be knowing him already. He's a very popular educator. He's the co-founder of Coding Blocks and creator of Course Coding Minutes, which is one of the highest rated DSA courses on Udemy. Currently, he is working as SDE3 at Google. Today, he will teach us recursion and backtracking. After the session, we will be having quizzes and practice questions. Do attempt the quiz as it will help you better understand the topic. And to convince you further, we do have prizes for the winners. Winner of the yesterday's quiz will be announced after the session and try to solve the questions also. They will help you grasp the topic better. And feel free to ask any doubts or queries in the live chat below. So let's start the session. Over to you, Pratik Bhaiya.
Hello Isha, hello everyone. A very good evening. I hope I am audible and loud and clear. Okay, great. So I'm getting lots of messages. Good to see you all. All clear, bhaiya. I've not started teaching, but screen and audio is clear. That's great. Uh, okay. So, are you excited for today's session? So, let me know what kind of students are attending today's session. Is everyone a beginner in recursion, or you have already solved some problems in recursion so that I can adapt the level of the session accordingly, right? So, write beginner if you're a beginner in recursion, write intermediate if you're an intermediate programmer, or write coder if you are already a competitive programmer. When are you coming to Hyderabad? Let's see after this lockdown thing opens. Okay, we have intermediate level programmers, some beginner level programmers. Okay, so we have a mixed variety. I guess it's going to be 50-50. So we will have problems for both beginner level programmers and intermediate level programmers. Don't worry. Before that, let me have quick introduction of mine. Many of you already know me. Many of you have done my courses. Many of you are doing my current course. But let me just start with my introduction. ईशा ने आपको शॉर्ट में थोड़ा सा बता दिया. So I'm a software engineer. I work at Google Hyderabad. Currently working from Punjab, from my home because of COVID. And I've been programming instructor for been about 5 years. And I co-founded Coding Blocks. Now I've created a new initiative which I called as Coding Minutes to bring high quality programming courses at very affordable prices so that everyone can learn to code. So last month I launched a course on Udemy. It became the highest rated algorithm course with 4.7 rating, and we have 4,000 plus students today in this course from 50 countries, including remote Caribbean islands, Pakistan, Nepal, US, Denmark, and so many other locations. So this course became popular only because of your support. A huge number of students from India also joined this course. So thank you everyone for making this course a success. Those who have not joined, you can still join now. We will be covering 150 plus coding questions, 230 plus videos, along with the dedicated tier doubt support that you will not find in many other Udemy or other online courses. We have a discussion forum, we have a code judge. So lots of things are in this course, and it comes at a cost less than a pizza. Okay, so are you ready to sacrifice a pizza to join me in this course? Then you can join it today. Today is the last day for the 360 price. This is the coupon code and this is the link. After that, this course is going to be little expensive, not much, but somewhere around 500. So if you're not joined, you can still join this course. Today is the last day to join this course. Okay. And recently my team also created an online ID. If you want to play with multiple languages without downloading different softwares, you can do it at id.codingminutes.com, and I'm sure you will love it. We have a very smooth and clean interface, and we are adding more features to it. So that's a little bit about me and what are the things we are doing. Okay, so any questions before we start? Otherwise, I will jump straight into the topic. So your Udemy courses for competitive programming, it's for enhancing the problem solving skills, which are also used for CP. And regarding competitive programming, I'm working on another course which would be available soon. You can sign up on codingminutes.com to get notified when the competitive programming course is coming. Okay. Share the link of your course. So this is the link of the course. Okay. You go to this link, bit.ly/DSA level up. So I call it as DSA level up course. And you will learn a lot of problem solving techniques in this course. Okay. So we would be doing this workshop in C++. Okay. But the idea is not to teach you the syntax. The idea is to teach you how recursion works and why do we need recursion. Okay. So let's start with the basics of recursion. Okay. So what is recursion? Recursion is a process of defining a problem in terms of simpler version of itself. Okay. So we are given a complex large problem. We want to break this problem into simpler problems of similar type. Okay. So it's a technique to solve problems. So let us see one example, a very simple example I'm taking. Let's say I want to write an algorithm which takes a person from a particular location to its home. Okay. So what you're going to have, you're going to say, okay, let's say this is my home. Okay. And I am standing here. Okay. I want to go to home from this location. Let's say this location is X and this home is at location N. Okay. So what I can do is I can take small steps and I can reach home. Okay, maybe I take one step here and then I can say, okay, let us repeat the same work. Let's say the work that we have to do at this particular step, this is called as, let's say, go home. I want to go to home from X to N. Let's say this is a function and I want to define this function recursively. That means I can say, okay, this can be written as take one step, and after taking one step you reach a location X plus 1, and maybe you can call this function again go home X plus 1 to N. Okay, so does it make sense? So in recursion you will see often programs like these where function is defined in terms of itself. So what we call this as a smaller subproblem, and we also call it as a recursive case. We are trying to solve this problem recursively. So we have converted a bigger problem into a smaller subproblem. Okay, a simpler example would be, for example, we want to compute let's say 5 factorial. Okay, so who will tell me how I can break down this problem recursively? Who will tell me? Let us see. Sagar, yes. Who will tell me how we can break down 5 factorial recursively? Okay, so 5 factorial is like multiplication of 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, but I want to say can I write this again, this problem as 4 factorial multiplied by 5? Okay, so this can be written as 5 into 4 factorial. So there are multiple ways to compute 5 factorial. You can do it using a for loop. You can also do it using recursion. So this is how we will break this problem. This is 5 into 4 factorial. Similarly, we can break 4 factorial as 4 into 3 factorial, 3 factorial as 3 into 2 factorial, and this can be written as 2 into 1 factorial, and this can be written as 1 into 0 factorial, and this can be now written as 1. So 0 factorial is 1. Okay, we will not go down further. So the smallest case where we have to stop our recursive calls, this is called as base case. This is called as base case. What we will do, we will return 1 from here. So it will become 1 into 1, the 1. So this becomes 2 into 1, this is 2. This becomes 3 into 2, this is 6. This becomes 4 into 6, this becomes 24. So you put 24 here, this becomes 5 into 24, that is 120. Okay, so this is how recursion works. So we break down a problem, we reach the smallest possible case that we call as base case. From the base case, we again come back towards the bigger problem by building up our solution in a bottom to top manner. Okay, so from here we are going from the top towards the base case, and from the base case we are coming towards the top. Okay, so something like this we would be doing in every recursion problem. Okay, so talking about the factorial definition, so we can say factorial of n can be written as n multiplied by factorial of n minus 1. So this is the recurrence. This relation is called as a recursive relation. Okay, so this can be written as a recursive relation. So our goal would be to find these recursive relations for different types of problems. And why we are doing it? Because solving problems versus solving problems using recursion helps us to simplify many problems. Okay, so this is the code. This is how the go home example would look like into the code. For example, I want to go from a location X towards home. So I will have a base case that if X is equal to home, if we have already reached home, then we don't need to do anything. We need to say, okay, if X equals N, then we are already at home. We print the statement reached home and we return. We don't do anything. Otherwise, what we do, we say, okay, take one step towards home, and again call this function go home from the updated location, that is X plus 1. Okay, so this is how the recursive case would look like, and this is how the base case would look like. So let's move on to the fundamental 3 steps that you need to follow in every recursion problem. So yes, so what you need to do, you need to figure out the smallest case. What would be the smallest case for a given problem? And you can assume, when you are going to write the code, you can assume that the sub problem can be solved. For example, I want to write factorial of n. Okay, so while writing this, I can assume that factorial of n minus 1 can be solved. If I make this assumption, then it becomes very easy for me to write the value for factorial of n without thinking how this value is computed. Okay, so once you write the code, you can verify that this works, and I will show you why this works. Okay, so the whole idea is to solve the current problem by assuming that the sub problem solution exists, and this is what we actually do in the principle of mathematical induction. So does anyone remember the principle of mathematical induction from school? So we have something like let us say we want to say, okay, what is the value of f of 0 or what is f of 1? We need to figure this thing out. So the smallest possible case that we figure it out. Then we assume that this problem can be solved for a given value of k. Maybe we assume that f of k exists. Okay, and using this f of k, we can say, okay, let us compute f of k plus 1 by defining it in terms of f of k. Okay, something like this. So this is what we actually do in PMI. We say, okay, f of k plus 1 can be derived from f of k because f of k always exists. So this is what exactly is recursion. It's just an application of principle of mathematical induction. Okay. So today's session, I would be teaching some basics plus some intermediate level questions as well. Okay, so the first question, this one is my favorite problem. Many of you might have solved this question as well. So what we are going to do, we are going to solve this problem. We are given a ladder that contains n steps, and at every step we can take a jump of 1, 2 or 3. Okay, and we want to find the number of ways in which we can climb this particular ladder. Okay, so let me give you one example. Let us say n is 4, so that means we have a ladder which contains 4 steps. Okay, and I want to go from this location to this particular location. Okay, so I want to find out what is the number of ways starting from the ground, that is n equal to 0, till the top, that is n equal to 4, okay, and it is given that at every step I can take a jump of 1, or I can take a jump of 2, or I can take a jump of 3. So what we are going to do, we are going to compute what is the value of f of n. F of n denotes the number of ways in which we can reach this ladder. Okay, are you getting the question? Let us see this example. How for n equal to 4 the answer is 7. So if you have 4 steps to climb, okay, and at every step you can take a jump of 1, 2, or 3, you can take a jump of 1 every time. This adds to 4. So this is one way. Or you can take first jump of step 1, then a jump of 2, and then a jump of 1. So 1, 2, 1. This is also 4. Then 1, 1, 2. This is also 4. Then 2, 1, 1. This is also 4. This is then 2 and 2. This is also 4. And then 3 and 1. This is also 4. And then 1 and 3. This is also 4. Okay. So what you can see is, if you can anyone tell me how many ways are these? How many ways are these? Who will tell me? Yeah, Neeraj, I have seen this thing. Google also makes fun of recursion. So we have 7 ways. Okay, we have 7 different ways of climbing this ladder of 4 steps. So we want to do it for any value of n. We want to say, okay, what happens when n is 5? What happens when n is 6? What happens when n is 7? Okay, we want to compute the number of ways. Now, how do we compute this? How do we compute this value? I don't know exactly, but if I use recursion, I can simplify this problem. Okay, if I use this is not exactly combinatorics. Okay, this is not exactly combinations, but we will not try to solve it using combinatorics, and I'm not sure whether the solution can be derived using combinatorics or not. Okay, but definitely what I know is I know how to break down a problem and how to use recursion to solve this problem. So I will show you one example now. Okay, so let us see how beautifully we can derive the solution to this problem using recursion. Okay, so let us assume that we are standing at this step. Okay, and we know that only we can come to this step from this step by taking a jump of 1. Okay, or we can come from this step to this step by taking a jump of 2, or we can reach the nth step from here by taking a jump of 3. Is there any other way to come to this location? Tell me, yes or no. Is there any other way? Yes or no? Anubhav, your answer is correct, but let's see. Is there any other way? No, we cannot take a jump of 4. Okay, we cannot take a jump of 4. So what we can say is, somehow if we know what is the number of ways to reach this step, so can I say recursively, if the number of ways to reach this step is f of n, then the number of ways to reach this step would be f of n minus 1. The number of ways to reach this would be n minus 2, and this would be f of n minus 3. Okay, does it make sense? It is given in the question, Ruchi. It's given that the maximum jump that you can take is of size 3. Okay, that's what it is given. So what we can say is f of n, okay, can be expressed as, so now you have choices. Can you take all the three paths together? So will it be you're coming from n minus 1 or n minus 2 or n minus 3, or will it be and? Okay, यहाँ पे condition क्या होगी? You are coming from the third last step, or you are coming from the second last step, or you are coming from the previous step. Will it be or will it be and? Okay. You cannot say I'm coming from the third step, parallelly I'm coming from the second step also. It will be or. So or basically means plus. Okay. Or basically means plus. So it would be f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2 plus f of n minus 3. So this is going to be the recurrence. Okay. So this is going to form our recursive case. So we have defined what the recursive case is going to look like. We can also define the base case. Who will tell me what is the base case? So this is the base case. And what would be the value of base case? If n is 0, then how many ways we have to stand on the ground? What would be the value, right? If n is 0, what should be your answer? We are going to say return 1 because there is one way to stand on the ground. Okay, the number of ways in which we can stand on the ground is 1. It's not going to be 0. Okay, so Vaibhav, your answer is correct. Okay, so there is one way in which you can stand on the ground. So the base case would be if n is 0, we are going to return 1. Okay, so that's it. Now we have figured out the recurrence. We have figured out this thing, the base case. Now we can write the code, and then I can show you why this code is working and why it gives the correct answer and how recursion works. So we are going to see each and everything after the coding part. So let us write the code. Let me say I have int ways. Okay, I get the value n. Okay, and here I take input n, scene n, and I say okay, so let's write the base case and let's write the recursive case. If n is 0, then we are going to return 1, and in the recursive case we are going to return some answer. So that answer is going to be equal to ways of n minus 1 plus ways of n minus 2 plus ways of n minus 3. Okay, and from here we can return the answer. Okay, so we can say cout ways of some value, that is n and l. Let's build our code, and let's try to run this code. I say n is 4. Sorry. One more thing. Okay, one more thing. I got an error. I will tell you why. Okay. So now let us do this thing. If n is 4, the answer is going to be 7. Okay. You can see we are getting the answer 7 for 4. We are getting for 5, the answer is 13. Yes. So if n is less than 0, we are going to return 0. Now let me show you why we need this case. Okay, why do we need these two cases? So let's see what happens. So when you are at n equal to 4, you made a first recursive call to n equal to 3, and Shinde says why n minus 3, because it is given in the question. It's given in the question. Okay. Then I can say we can make a call on 2. We can also make a call on 1. Okay. So these calls will happen later on, but firstly we are going to make this call. So from n equal to 3, we are making again 3 calls. 3 minus 1, that is 2. 3 minus 2, that is 1. And 3 minus 3, that is 0. Okay. And from 2, again, we are making 3 calls. See, this is the value of n. Okay. This is the value of n. So n is 4, n is 3, n is 2, n is 1. Okay. From 2, we are going to make 3 calls. Okay. So what happens when the value of n is 2? You skip these two cases. You make a call on n minus 1, that is 1. N minus 2, that is 0. and n minus 1, that is minus 1. So we are making a call on a state that is invalid state. Okay, that is an invalid state. So minus 1 means we are going below the ground. Okay, so below the ground the stage does not exist. uh, so I'm getting an answer. Can you reply why you have taken base case n equal to 0, not 1? Okay, I will tell you, don't worry. So can you add my picture, organizers? Okay, that's great. So we will try to answer. I'm trying to show you the recursion tree. So at every step we are making 3 recursive calls. So these 3 functions are going to get generated. Okay, I'm assuming you know a little bit about the call stack, how recursion works, and this is how the recursion tree is going to behave. Okay, so what we are doing is, from 4 we are making 3 calls, 1 to, because if you see 4 minus 1, that is 3, 4 minus 2, that is 2, 4 minus 1, that is 1. So firstly we will come into this call. From here we will again make 3 calls. Firstly we will come into this call. When n is 2 we will make 3 calls. 2 minus 1, that is on 1, 2 minus 2, that is on 0, and 2 minus 3, that is minus 1. Okay, yes, we will share the codes, don't worry. Now this is an invalid state. This is an invalid state. Do you want that I should make further calls from minus 1? Do you want, should I make calls from minus 1? Yes or no? So that for this call I've written a base case. If in a recursive call the value of n becomes less than 0, then I will return the answer as 0, because there is no way I can come from minus 1 step towards the top. I cannot come from underground towards the top. Okay, so we will return 0 in this case. Okay, but for what is going to happen for n equal to 1, so this is, again, we don't have a base case for n equal to 1. So this will not execute, this will not execute, this code will still execute. We will make 3 calls. We'll make a call on 0, we'll make a call on minus 1, we'll make a call on minus 2. Again, these 2 states are invalid state. Okay, so what happens when n is 0? We return an answer 1. That's fine. What happens when n is minus 1? We return an answer that is 0. And for this also we return an answer that is 0. Yes, if we don't put this case, it will run into an infinite recursion. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. It will go till minus infinity. So this will lead to a segmentation fault in the program. So that's why this case is important. Okay. So now what happens at n equal to 1? Who will tell me? So n equal to 1 made 3 calls. Okay. And these 3 calls have given their answers 1, 0, and 0. So this answer is going to return 1. This is going to return an answer 1. Okay, are you getting this thing? The base case is 0 because you're starting from the ground. Okay, so you're starting from the ground, so this is n equal to 0. You know there is one way to start from the ground, right? Yes, we are doing sum of all 3 calls, so this is going to return 1. What this 0 is going to return, this 0 is also going to return 1, because if n is 0, there is only one way to stand on the ground. So this 2, what is this 2 going to return? Who will tell me what value this 2 will return? Who will tell me? Come on, guys. 2 is going to sum up the results. 1 plus 1 plus 0, that is going to be 2. Akash, you are correct. So this answer is going to be 2. And you can verify why this is 2, because if you want to reach this particular step, you can take a jump of 1 and then you can take a jump of 1, or you can go directly by taking a jump of 2. So from 0 you can go to 2 by taking a jump of 1. Okay, so this is this step. From 0 you are going to 2 by taking a direct jump. So this branch represents this particular step. Or what you can do, from 0 you can go to 1, and from 1 you can go to 2. So this branch represents this particular thing. Are you getting it? Are you getting this? So this 2 represents 1, 1 and 2. Okay, yes, we can make 1 also as a base case, but it's not required. Okay, are you getting this? Now what happens at 3? So 3 makes a call on 2, 3 makes a call on 1. So this call is not yet resolved. 1 makes a call on 0, it makes a call on -1, it makes a call on -2. This returns a 0, this returns a 0, this returns a 1. So 1 again returns the answer 1. 3 makes a call on 0, and 0 is a base case. If n is 0, we return 1. So we return 1. So what happens at n equal to 3? What would be the answer for n equal to 3? Who will tell me? So 3 is going to return something to the parent. So this answer is going to be what? Who will tell me? So Abhinav, great, your answer is correct. So for n equal to 3, we have actually 4 ways, 2 plus 1 plus 1. So this is going to be 4. Okay. So this is going to be 4. And we can verify that this is correct. So we can say this is 1, 1, 1. That is one way. We have, see this branch, from 0 to 1, a jump of 1. From 1 to 2, again a jump of 1. From 2 to 3, a jump of 1. So this branch contributed one way here. Then let us look at this branch. From 0 to 2, you took a jump of 2. Okay. So 2 minus 0, that's a jump of 2. Then 2 to 3, 3 minus 2, that is a jump of 1. Okay, that is another branch. Then look at this one. From 0 to 1, you took a jump of 1. From 1 to 3, you took a jump of 3 minus 1, that is 2. So this is another branch, 1 comma 2. So 1 comma 2 represents this branch of recursion. Are you getting this thing? Are you getting this thing? 0, 1, 3 represents these two jumps. Okay. 0, 1, 3 represents these two jumps. From 0, you're going to 1. From 1, you're going to 3. Okay. And what about 0 to 3? So you're taking a single jump of size 3. So this is a jump of size 3. And if you now look carefully, these are 4 ways. Okay. And that's why we have an answer for n equal to 3 as 4. Okay. So what happens at n equal to 2? A similar story will repeat. It will make a call on 1, 0, minus 1. It will again make a call on 0, minus 1, minus 2. And similarly, we will get an answer of 2 from here, 1 from here, 1 from here. And similarly, this will make a call on 0, minus 1, minus 2. You get an answer 1 here, 0 from here, 0 from here, and 1 from here. So who will tell me what is the answer for n equal to 4 now? We are adding 4 plus 2 plus 1. So this answer is going to be 7. So this output is going to be 7. So is it clear how the recursion tree is working and how you're getting an answer of 7 for this particular example? Okay. That's great. What is the time complexity of this code? See, talking about the time complexity, we have first 1 call on the first level, 3 calls on the next level, 3 square calls on the next level, and 3 raised to the power n minus 1 calls on the last level. We have n levels. Okay. So it would be, if you just sum it up, it would be 3 raised to the power n order of this. So it is 3 raised to the power n for this particular recursive code. Okay. So this is the time complexity of this problem. Can you use a different value, for example? Yeah, we can use it. It's going to be, this tree is going to grow bigger. So I'm avoiding a bigger example because I don't have enough space to draw a bigger tree. But I hope you understood this code. So someone is asking why we have taken this case. See, you can take you can do two things. Either you avoid making these calls if n is less than 0. Okay. So in any case, you don't want to go to a value that is negative. If you're going to a value that is negative, maybe you end up at -2. Then it will make a call on -3, -4, -5. Okay. So I want to stop at the negative states. So as soon as n goes less than 0, I stop. I don't need those states to be computed. Okay. How can we think of this? So we will do more questions like this. And okay, so Vinay says complexity. So what is happening is, I also did a recent session on space-time complexity. It's on my YouTube channel. Okay, you will find a very detailed session on Prateek Narang's YouTube channel. Go here and you can attend it after today's session if you want to learn space-time complexity. Okay, is this problem, can we solve it without using recursion? Yes, you can solve it without using recursion. So have you solved Fibonacci without using recursion? Tell me, have you solved Fibonacci without using recursion? Yes, Dipanchu, you are correct. So what you can do is, so what we are doing is, we are simply saying that my current answer is sum of previous three answers. Okay, so if I know the first three terms, what happens if n is 0? So answer is 1. What happens when n is 1? Still this answer is 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can do it using yes. So what you can do at n equal to 2, what you are doing, you are adding the previous three states. So at n equal to 2, we have the answer for this state, we have the answer for this state, we don't have any answer for this. So we just ignore it. We say, okay, let us add 0. So n equal to 2 becomes 1 plus 1, that is 2. What happens at n equal to 3? We are adding the previous three answers. So we add these three terms. We say 1 plus 1 plus 2. This becomes 4. What happens at n equal to 4? We add the previous three terms. So it is 4 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7. What happens at n equal to 5? We can say 7 plus 4 plus 2. That is what? 11 plus 2, that is 13. Okay, so yes, this approach is actually called as bottom up DP. Technically this is a bottom up DP approach, but in any way you're getting this. What we are doing is, we are just filling a array, or you don't even need an array. What you need is, you need the previous three numbers. At any point you need previous three numbers, and you add those three numbers to get the answer for the current number. Okay, that's it. At n equal to 6. But how we came up with this particular recurrence? This recurrence came using a recursive thinking. Okay, so what we are saying, array of I is nothing but it's sum of array of I minus 1 plus array of I minus 2 plus array of I minus 3. That's it. That's what we are doing here. Okay, and if these values don't exist, for example, if n equal to 1, if I say I want to find out what is array of n minus 2 or array of I minus 3, then these values don't exist. I take these values as 0. So this is the equivalent thing that we are doing in recursion. Okay. Yes, I have covered backtracking also. Okay. So what would be the complexity of this code? What would be the complexity of this approach? Who will tell me how much time you will need to fill in this particular array? Okay. Yes, jump size can be of anything. Jump size can be of k. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be order of n. That's correct. That's correct. Okay, let us move on to a next problem. So let us test your recursive thinking. Okay. So I'm not taking the basic problems. I'm not taking Fibonacci. I'm not taking factorial. I'm not taking how to compute power. Okay, because those are very simple problems, and I am hoping that you would be able to solve these problems by your own. Okay, is it okay if I skip these problems? Should we do some interesting competitive programming questions, or you want the basic problems? Okay, so let me give you a question. Okay, we are given a boolean string of length n. Okay, we are given a boolean string of length n. We want to count how many such Boolean strings exist which have no consecutive ones. Okay. For example, if n is 2, then I have, so this is a competitive problem, okay? Boolean strings. In this case, the output is 3. So we are given n is 2, okay? That means we have a Boolean string, means it can only have zeros and ones. So we can have 4 Boolean strings, but out of these fours, only these 3 have no consecutive ones. So this is not a valid case. So this is why the 3 is output, okay? This is the intermediate level recursion problem. So is the problem statement clear? Can you think how you can break this problem recursively? Can you think how you can break this problem recursively? Just think, okay? So let me say I will give you a string of length n, and f of n will tell me what is the answer for this problem. If I give you Boolean strings of length 3, okay, how many such strings you can form which don't have consecutive ones? Okay, that means two ones should not come together inside the string. Akash, we want such a string in which no two ones are together, okay? Okay, for a string of length, and how many Boolean strings are possible? 2 raised to the power n, because at every step you have two options, 0 or 1, 0 or 1, 0 or 1. But we want those strings in which we don't see two ones together. That's it. Okay. Dipanshu has given me the right answer. How did you arrive at Dipanshu? Okay, so let us try to generalize for a bigger value of n. Okay, let's say this is a string of length n. That's great. Parth has given us the right answer. So what we said in recursion is we will assume that the sub problem can be solved. In this case, how you are forming a string, you are adding a bit, you're adding one bit at a time. Okay, for example, this string is of length n minus 1, and let us assume the number of Boolean strings with n minus 1 is f of n minus 1. Okay, and if I put a 0 here, then all these strings would be valid n length strings also. Do you agree? If I have n minus 1 strings, okay, if I have f of n minus 1 strings for a Boolean string of length n minus 1, then if I put a 0 at the last, then I will get n length strings which are also valid strings. So that means f of n is equal to f of n minus 1. But I also have other option. Instead of adding a 0 here, I can add a 1 here. Do you agree with this statement? Okay. Do you agree with this? I can also add a 1 here. But now there is one problem. It will also include those strings in which the last bit is 1. Yes, it may happen the last bit is 1 in some of these strings. So what we want is, we want only those strings of length n minus 1 which have a 0 here. Which have a 0 here. Okay, are you getting this thing? That means you have already fixed two positions. You are saying your last bit is set to 1, your second last bit is set to 0. Then, and for this part you want all valid strings can be counted. Okay, for this part all valid strings can be taken. So this part has a length of n minus 2. So this becomes f of n minus 2. Okay, so this this is for the case when you're putting 0 as last bit, and this is for the case when you're putting 1 as the last bit. And these are the two sub problems which can be easily solved, and this is the answer for f of n, right? That's it. Okay, so this is going to give you the correct answer. Okay, so what happens when n is 1 for the base case? Let's say if n is 1, you have two options. Okay, either this can be 0 or it can be 1. When n is 2, for n equal to 0, you only have one option. Okay, that is a null string. Okay, for n equal to 2, what you're doing, you're going to make two calls. You're going to add these two answers and you will get 3. For n equal to 3, you're going to make two calls, 3 plus 2, and you're going to get an answer 5. And you can verify this is 0 0 0, one string, 0 0 1, 1 0 1 0, and 1 0 0, and 1 0 1. These are the 5 strings that will satisfy this particular property. Okay, so how to think of a base case? Either you think either you can take these two as a base case, or you can take these two as a base case. It's totally your choice. Okay, so did you understand how we are breaking down a recursive problem? The idea is not how to solve this problem, the general idea, how we have to think recursively and break down our problem. That's what we are trying to do here. Okay, I will give you a similar problem again to solve right now. Okay, if this is clear, we will move on to the next problem. See, if n is 0, then you can return a null string. Okay, you can have a null string, so that is why we have a one way. Okay, that's why. Okay, if it is not clear, then you can verify that for n equal to 2, I need an answer from 1 and I need an answer from 0. This answer you know is 3, this answer you know is 2, and then this answer must be 1. So there are two ways. If you are not clear what to do in n equal to 0, there is one null string that is possible. Suppose you don't know this. Okay, then you can also think that for n equal to 2, the answer is 3. From n equal to 1, we are already getting 2. So 2 will make a call on 0. So 0 must be 1. Okay, second case I need to explain. So second case, suppose if the last bit is 1, okay, then I cannot take all the possible strings that are coming from here. Why? Because it will also have those strings in which the last bit is 1. We don't want that because it will contain two consecutive ones in the final string. So what we want the last string must be 0. So that means we don't have any option for this place and this place. So all the possible combinations that we can make will be in this n minus 2 size window. And how many possible combinations we can make? That is going to be equal to f of n minus 2. That's it. So you can have 0 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 1, something like this, or you can have a 0 here. That doesn't matter. That will never create a consecutive string, consecutive one. Okay, so why we are fixing 0 and 1? See, in the last place, you can fix it at any place. Okay, the idea is you break down your problem from n. You have to break down your problem maybe in terms of n by 2, maybe in terms of n by 3, or maybe in terms of n minus 1, n minus 2. So you need to reduce the problem size if you're working with a recursive problem. So for these type of questions where you're building a string digit by digit, okay, letter by letter, the easiest way to break down is you do the work for one step by yourself, and you think about that the remaining can be solved using recursion. So that's why we are doing for the first place or the last place, we can fix a 1 and we can say, okay, this can be filled in f of n minus 1 ways. Okay, but the problem is if we fill it in f of n minus 1 ways, we may have a 1 here. So what we want, we should have a 0 here. Then we are left with this part In this part, we can have any combination and it will not create a consecutive one. So this should be f of n minus 2. Or what we can do is we can say for the first place, we can have a 0 here, and this remaining can be filled in any number of ways. Okay, any number of combinations. So this would be f of n minus 1, 2. Since you have two options, either you put a 1 or you put a 0. So we are doing a plus. So the answer, recurrence is f of n. This is equal to f of n minus 2 plus f of n minus 1. Okay. Is it clear? Code it for better understanding. So code is very simple. So you can write something like this. If n is 0 or n, then you can return 1. Okay. If n is less than 0, then you can return 0. Okay. Otherwise, you can return f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2. That's it. Okay. So this is how the code is going to look like. So this is the base case, and this is the recursive case. Okay. Is it clear now? No, we are counting the ways. We are not generating the strings. Okay, so the output is an integer. The answer is we want the count. We are not generating the strings. Okay. Is it clear? Okay, so let us discuss a party problem. Okay. So it's a lockdown time. Let's have a virtual party problem. We can't have parties, but we can solve party problems. Okay. So what is going to happen is the lockdown is going to get over soon, and many of you are going to go to Goa. Okay, to have some activities on the beach like parasailing and all. Okay. So let's solve one more question. Okay, so we have group of n friends. Let it call as f1, f2, f3 up to f of n. Okay, we have n number of friends, and these friends, they want to go to Goa for a party. Okay, now at Goa, cabs are pretty expensive. Okay, they charge like 100 rupees per kilometer type. Okay, so but the diesel is very cheap. So what people do, people use scooties in Goa, right? So those who have gone to Goa, they know they use a scooty. Okay, so what happens on a scooty is either you can sit alone, or you can sit with your girlfriend or with your friend. Okay, so on any scooty you can either one person or two-person can sit, not more than that. Okay, so doing a tripling would give you a challan. Okay, so what so where is Sun? Okay, so Sun is here. Okay, so what the question is in how many ways these n friends can get the scooties. Okay, in how many ways these n friends can get the scooties? Number of ways to get scooties. Each person can go solo, or he can go as a pair. That means the person with his friend or girlfriend. Okay, so boy plus girl, they can sit on a scooty. Okay. So let me give you one example. Okay, let me give you one example. Let us suppose we have three friends, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so one says, maybe all of them are boys. They don't want to sit together. They will say, okay, I want to go solo. Two says I want to go get my scooty, and three says I want to get my scooty. Or maybe one or two decide to pair up. One or two say no, we will sit together on one scooty, and three says I will go alone. But it may happen that two or three may sit on a same scooty, and one says no, I will go alone. Or it may happen that one or three are in relationship, so they decide to sit on one scooty and two goes alone. For for n equals to 3, we have four ways. Now you have to tell me what happens when n is n. So we will have a function f of n, and you need to complete this function. This is now your homework. Okay. They will have 2 raised to the power n ways. That's not correct. Think recursively. Okay, don't think it like a PNC problem. Think recursively. Think what you can do it using a recursion. Okay. Neha has given me an answer which seems quite correct. Okay. So it's party mode going on, but I am only having water, right? Same as previous. Not exactly same as previous. Okay. Can boy and boy go together? Yes, boy and boy can go together. So gender is not mentioned. Okay. They all are friends. Any two friends can club. Okay. F1, F2, F3. They may be boys. There may be girls. We don't know. Okay. Yes, we can. We have to break it in sub problems like these. But think. Let's say these are the n friends. Okay. Okay, so anyone can be in relation with anyone, right? So anyone can pair up with anyone. Okay, two boys can group together, two girls can group together, a boy and girl can group together. So anything is possible, right? No, no. The thing is, base case would be what is the smallest possible number of friends you can have. That is n equal to 0, okay, or n equal to 1. So if n is 1, then you can have only one way. So that person will book one scooty and they will go to the beach. That's would be the base case. Parth, you are close but not correct. Okay, Pragya. See, let us see how we should we discuss the solution now, or you want some more time to think? Till now, I've got only one correct answer. That is by Nehal. Okay, right. Discuss if you want me to discuss. Okay, one more minute. Uh, Discuss. Okay, people are saying let us discuss. See, what I told to you is recursion को break down करना है, ठीक है? You have n people, you can easily break it down into n minus 1 people or n minus 1 2 people. Let us pick the first person. Let us pick the first friend. How many options this person has? let us pick the first friend in the queue. How many options this person has? Can he go alone, or he can go solo, or he can go as a pair with someone else? Okay, he has two options. Okay, I'm waiting for 1 minute. The hint is, think in terms of this person and leave everything else to recursion. सिर्फ एक बंदे के बारे में सोचो और बाकी सब रिकर्जन पे छोड़ दो. भाई तुम रिकर्जन तुम सॉल्व करके लाओ. इस बंदे के लिए प्रॉब्लम कैसे ब्रेक डाउन होगा उसके बारे में सोचो. ठीक है, इस बंदे के पास दो ऑप्शंस हैं. ठीक है, आइदर ही विल गो अलोन और ही विल गो विद हिज गर्लफ्रेंड और बॉयफ्रेंड. ओके, ठीक है. तो अगर अगर ये बंदा अकेले जाता है तो ही विल पिक अ स्कूटी. ठीक है, तो इसके पास देर इज ओनली वन वे टू गो अलोन. बट इसके साथ साथ ये लोग भी तो जाएंगे ना, मतलब ये लोग भी तो पार्टी पे जाएंगे, ये लोग घर पे थोड़ी बैठे रहेंगे. दे ऑल्सो हैव टू गो. ओके, सो दिस पर्सन पिक्स अ स्कूटी इन वन वे and the other people go to the beach in f of n minus 1 ways. Is that correct? So I'm putting a and here. This person is going and these n minus 1 persons are also going. So we have a multiplication here. So this person can pick a scooty in one way and the remaining persons can go in f of n minus 1 ways. Yes? Harshil has given me now the right answer. या फिर क्या हो सकता है, or he can say no, I want to go with one of these persons, one of these guys or one of these girls is my girlfriend. I will pick her. I will pick a girlfriend in n minus 1 ways. Is it correct? So this person can pick any one of these in n minus 1 ways. Let us say this person got picked. Now you have n minus 2 people left. And these n minus people will also go to the beach in f of n minus 2 ways. So we have a multiplication here. So this turns out to be f of n minus 1 plus n minus 1 multiplied by f of n minus 2. So this is the correct recurrence. Okay, so Pragya, now your answer is correct. So are you getting how we are breaking down problems recursively? What if tripling is allowed? Same thing. Okay, now the formula would be a bit complex. You can figure it out in the same way. Okay, if tripling would have been allowed, you will have one more case. I need to pick two persons, then these two persons from this can be picked in nc2 ways, and the remaining ones will go in f of n minus 3 ways. Something like that would get added here. Okay, Akash, are you getting it now? Okay, now let us verify if this formula is correct. Okay, Ria says one more problem for practice. Okay, I will give you two more problems on the lines of these problems. Those would be 2D matrix problems. Okay, 1D हमने कर लिया, 2D problems we will solve. Okay, so let us verify that our formula is correct. So we have written f of n equals f of n minus 1 plus n minus 1 into f of n minus 2. So can you explain again second term? Okay, let us say we have this guy. Okay, and these are n minus 1 people. He says I want one of these. Okay, I have, let's say, 5 people. So how many options he has to choose from? He has 5c1 options. Okay, he has 5c1 options, or you can say nc1 options. Sorry, n minus 1 c1 options. Okay, so what we can do is this person A can pick some other person, maybe let's say this girl G, then A will go with G on one scooty. Okay, but A can combine with n minus 1 people, so it has n minus 1 options multiplied by the number of people which are left. So we have these people which are left, n minus 2 people are left, so they will also go. So they will go in f of n minus 2 ways. Okay, so this is how the second term is coming. I hope it is now clear. Okay, yes. Rohan, is it clear? A can choose G in n minus 1 ways, and the remaining people are n minus 2. They can go in f of n minus 2 ways. Okay, so let us verify. If n is 0, let's say the answer is 1. If n is 1, the answer is 1. Then what happens when n is 2? So f of 2 can be written as f of 1 plus 2 minus 1, that is 1, into f of 0. Okay, so this is f of 1, that is 1, plus 1 into 1. So this is 2. So you can see f of 2 is 2. So if you have two people, they can go together or they can go solo. So that is correct. What about f of 3? So when f of 3, we have f of 2 plus 3 minus 1, that is 2, into f of 1. Okay, so f of 2 is 2, 2 plus 2 into 1. So this turns out to be 4. So we have already seen when we have three people, A, B, and C, they can go in four ways, and this is how we are getting the correct answer. So we can verify by running on small cases that our recurrence is correct. So Nikhil is asking me a question. Can beginners join my course? So I have an announcement on it. So this course is for intermediate programmers who want to advance to the next level. For beginners, I am bringing a course that will be available soon. So what you need to do, you need to sign up on my website codingminutes.com, and as soon as beginner course is launched, I will send you an email with a coupon to join this course. Okay, so all these courses information would be available on this website, and you can also use our online ID, and you can use the latest compilers here. Okay, so you can definitely check out the new ID as well, and you can also contribute to the development of ID by writing some features, maybe a toggle switch for a theme bar or a save functionality. So yeah, so you can join the discussion on the Coding Minutes GitHub repository. Okay, so that's, I hope, Nikhil, that clears your doubt. Okay, so I had some other problems that were on backtracking, but I think we should stick to these type of problems because backtracking itself is a vast topic and it will take a lot of time. So let us Shinde says price has increased. So today is the last day. So if you use this coupon Pizza 360 on Udemy, you will get at lowest price. Okay. And just to help you guys, I have now added TA support. And if you go to the market for a course with the TA support, you will have to spend these many rupees. Okay, so now you have a choice: either spend this or spend this. Choice is yours. Okay. Okay, so let us solve a nice problem on grids. Okay. Okay, let us focus on a new problem. Let's say we are in a M cross N grid. Okay, we are in a M cross N grid. So we are in a m cross n grid. We are standing at this location. So let's say there is a rat which is at this location. Okay, sorry, not so good drawing. And this rat can move left or it can move one step down. Okay, so I want to find out what is the total number of ways, in which this rat can reach this particular cell, the number of ways to reach this particular cell. Okay, in every step it can move one step right or one step down, maybe like this, like this, like this. So this is one way. Similarly, there can be more ways. So I want you to compute f of m comma n. Okay, or f of m minus 1, or let's say some f of x comma y. Okay, this is what you need to compute. In the beginning it is starting from 0 0. Okay, so some people are asking me for competitive course. Okay, C++ basic DSA course. Okay, so all these courses including Python, ML, they would be available in coming weeks and months. So you sign up on Coding Minutes and you will get information when these courses launch. Okay, and at the launch time the prices would be lowest. After that it may increase. Okay, so you can sign up on my website and I will notify you when these courses are going to come. Okay, so competitive most likely in July. Okay, next month. Okay, so let us Parth has given me some answer. Okay, so now there are two ways to look at it. So either you can say in how many ways I can go from here to here, or I can say in how many ways I can reach here starting from here. Okay, so both ways are looking fine. You can look forward or you can look backward. Both are fine. Okay, like we did an array, either you take the first element or the last element, both will give you the same answer. So you can either look forward or you can look backward. That's perfectly fine. So Parth's solution is a forward looking. My approach would be a backward looking. Okay, okay, so I think most of you have given me the right answers. So the way to look at this grid problem is like this. Suppose we have a grid like this. Okay, and what we are doing, let's say we are reaching this coordinate x comma y. So what can happen is we can come from this cell or we can come from this cell. We want to compute the number of ways to reach f of x comma y. So if we are coming from here, we can assume that we already know the number of ways. So this is going to be equal to f of x minus 1 comma y, or we can come from here. So this is going to be equal to f of x comma y minus 1. Okay, that's it. And in the base case, if we reach this cell, if xy is 0 0, we are standing here, so we are starting from here. So the rat is here, so the rat can be here in only one way. So the answer is going to be f of 0 0, this is going to be 1. If you go out of the grid, suppose you make a call here, then this answer is going to be 0. If you make a call here, then this answer is going to be 0. Okay, okay, so in any case, if you you will have a base case like if x comma y is 0 0, then the answer should be 1. If x comma y is out of grid, then your answer should be 0. Otherwise, in the recursive case, you have to use this recurrence. Okay, Otherwise, in the recursive case, you can use this as a recurrence. Now, let me show you how this is going to work. Okay. So we can also do it in a bottom-up fashion. Okay. Let us look at, you can do it using two for loops also. You can put two for loops, nested loops, one for I, one for j, and you can put the same formula inside the loop also by for computing like f of ij. So what we can do is, we are standing here. To reach this cell, we can come from here, we can come from here, but this is out of grid. So this is 0 plus 1, this is going to be 1. To reach this cell, it would be 1, 1 from here, it would be 1. Okay. So this is going to be 1, this is going to be 1, this is going to be 1. Okay. Similarly, this is going to be 1. But what happens here? So you will have two ways. 1 plus 1, that is 2. You will have 1 plus 2, 3 ways for here. You will have 3 plus 1, 4 ways for here. 4 plus 1, that is 5 ways for here. Okay. And here you will have 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 3, 6, 4 plus 6, 10. Who will tell me the answer for this one? What happens if there is an obstacle? We will take it, don't worry. Obstacle ko bhi lenge. What will be the answer for this one? See, out of the grid means you cannot come out from the grid. Okay, you let's say for this cell, there is only one way you can come from the top. Okay, in how many ways you can reach here? There is only one way. You take one step here, one step here, one step here. So there is only one way because the rat cannot move backwards. There is no other way. Okay, so there is only one way to reach this particular cell. So that's why I'm saying if you use this recurrence, you will make a call here and you will make a call here. From the top call, you will get 1, but this call, this coordinate is out of the grid. So you should return 0. Okay. So the answer for this one is 15, which is correct. Okay. Similarly, you can do it for this row. This is 4, this is 10, this is 20, this is 35, and that's it. Okay, so either you can do it using recursion or you can do it using this bottom up table filling. This is called as dynamic programming approach, and dynamic programming approach is better. It takes less time to execute the code, but the recursion approach tells you how to think. Okay, how to think is coming from recursion. Okay. Okay, good question. How to calculate the time complexity? If you follow the recursive approach, then you can see that from x comma y, from this cell, you made two calls. Okay. And from here, you again made two calls, two calls, two calls. So this tree, this is x comma y. This is going to be x minus 1 and y, then x minus 2 and y. So this is going to be of the order of height of this path length. Okay, order of m plus n. Okay, so this depth would be of this order of m plus n. So in this case, it would be of this order 2 raised to the power m plus n. So this would be the complexity for the recursive code. And for this code in which you are just doing this, you're using two loops and you're filling array of ij or dp of ij, it would be order of m into n. So this one is actually much better. This one is actually much better. The first one is really bad. So ideally we should do it using the second approach. That's using a bottom up DP or using top down DP using with memoization. Okay. Top down recursion with memoization. That's top down DP. Okay. So I have sessions on DP on my channel. If you want to go and learn from my YouTube video, you will find my session on dynamic programming as well. Okay. Yes. Okay. So let us move on to the final problem for today. Okay, so we could not touch backtracking, but I hope these problems are really nice and they are asked in competitive programming. So let's move on to the final problem for today. This is a variation of the problem we have just solved. Okay, so let me show it to you. We are given a grid. How many of you have seen an elephant? How many of you have seen an elephant? an elephant in a chess game. Okay, that's great, Siddharth. Okay, so we have an elephant, and this is standing here in the grid, and this is a chessboard. Okay, so this elephant wants to move from this cell to this cell. Elephant can move any number of steps towards right, or it can move any number of steps towards down. Okay, it can move any number of steps right, or it can move any number of steps down. You need to tell me in how many ways this elephant can reach this target. Okay, now you first tell me what is the difference between the rat problem and the elephant problem. Who will tell me? Rishabh says heard elephant for the first time. Who will tell me what is the difference between the previous problem and this problem? You have to calculate. Let's say this is a m cross n board. Number of ways in which this elephant can reach. Yes, Raj says he has more moves. He can't go diagonally. He has only two moves. Okay, but the thing is, in case of a rat can take only one step. So this was one way of in case of a rat. Okay, but in the same path, the elephant can what elephant can do is it can go to this point, then stop, and then go to this point. This is another way. Or elephant says, no, I will take a jump of 2, I will stop here, I will take a jump of 2, I will stop here, I will take a jump of 2, I will stop here, and then I will go here. So you can see for the same path, there are many ways. Are you getting it? Because elephant can move any number of steps. Yes. So you for the same path, there can be many possible ways in which this elephant can move. Yes. So now you need to tell me in how many ways this elephant can reach this diagonal. Okay, it can even go like this. Yahan gaya, he stopped here, then he stopped here, then he went here. Or maybe he went here, he went here, he went here, and then he went here. I think rolling through time, your answer is somewhat close. Evening, everyone. So can you relate this with the ladders problem that we have just discussed in the beginning of the class? It's like a ladders problem in 2D. Does it feel like that? Okay, so basically what is going to happen is, let us see. Let's see what's going to happen. I will take a smaller grid this time. Okay. See, if I talk about this step, elephant can stand here at one way. What about this step? Elephant can come to this cell from this one only. Okay, so this is also going to be 1. But for this cell, the elephant have two options. Either he can come from here or he can come directly from here. So this has 1 plus 1, that is 2 ways. For this cell, elephant can come from here also, from here also, from here also. So this is going to be 4. Similarly, this is going to be 1 to 4. Okay, are you getting this thing? So, and what about this one? Elephant can come from here or it can come from here. This answer would be 2. What about this one? Elephant can come from here, here, and here. So what would be the answer here? Who will tell me? Who will tell me? What about this? 5. That's great. What about this cell? From where elephant can come? It can come from here in one ways. It can come from here in two ways. It can come from here in 5 ways. It can come from here in 4 ways. So it's going to be 5 plus 4, 9 plus 2, 11 plus 1, 12 ways. Okay. So what I can generalize is at any coordinate x comma y, I can say my answer, my result of x comma y, it would be nothing but summation of result of x minus k comma y, where k goes from 0 till x minus 1, plus result of x comma y minus k, where k goes from 0 till y minus 1. K goes from 1, right? K goes from 1. Okay, so what we are doing, we are just doing the summation like in a case of a ladder problem. We had a one-dimensional summation. Here we have a two-dimensional summation. So this is how we are summing up the states to get an answer for the current state. Okay. So this you can do it using recursion, or you can do it using bottom-up DP. Recursively, it will have a exponential complexity. Using DP, it will have a cubic complexity. Okay, so it would be something of this form. Let's say it is n comma n. So it would be, you have n square states and each state uses a loop of size n. So it would be n square into n. So it can be done it in order of n cube. Okay. Can you explain it for x comma y equal to 0? So for the first row and the first column, you just need to sum up all the elements in the row and sum up all the elements in the column. Okay. So how you need to do? Let us see how we can fill it. So for the first row, you put a 1 here. Then for this one, sum up all the elements. That is 1. For this one, sum up all the elements. That is 2. For this one, sum up all the elements. That is 4. Similarly, for here, sum up everything, that is 1. Sum up here, that is 2. Sum up here, that is 4. Sum up here, that is 2 plus 1, 3, 4, 4, 8. Okay. And for this one, sum up everything here and here, that is 2. For this one, sum up everything here and here, that is 5, and so on. Okay. So base case would be please explain the code for the base cases. If x is 0 and y is 0, you have to return 1. Okay. If you're going out of grid, you have to return 0. Otherwise, the same recurrence. Return f of summation of f of x minus k into y plus summation of f of x comma y minus k. K goes from 1 till y minus 1. K goes from 1 till x minus 1. Okay. Something like this you can do. So this will be a recursive case. So we have two base cases and we have a recursive case. Okay. Is it clear? Is this thing clear now? So we have not written much codes, but we have focused on logic. Coding is not difficult. Thinking is difficult. Okay. In case of recursion, the emphasis should be on developing how to think. Okay. All right. So guys, that's all for today. And some of you joined late and you were asking me about the course. If you still want to join me in this level up course, today is the day. You can join using this coupon PISA 360. And I have also covered some recursion and backtracking in this course as well. So I've covered lots of videos and problems like these, and you will also get how to solve. You will get a coding judge, and you will also get a TA support. Okay, so that's for the course. Okay, so with this, we are close to the end of today's session. So let me know. So anyone who is seeing a higher price, please use this coupon. Okay, PISA 360. So what you need to do, you need to apply this coupon at this particular point and your price will reduce. So this is a special coupon for all of you who are attending this workshop, and you will see the price will reduce to 360. Okay. And in this course, you will find a lot of memes as well. Okay. So the course link is this one. Go to codingminutes.com and you will find the course link. Okay. You will find the course link on codingminutes.com. Okay. Please show the last slide containing the metrics. I've removed that one. So go and rewind the video and you will see the matrix. Okay, the video is going to stay here. Okay. So thank you everyone. Thanks a lot for joining me today. Hoping to see you in my future sessions as well. I hope you really learned something new today, and stay safe, keep learning, and stay in touch. Okay, you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Recursion is easy now. That's great. That's what I want to. You're right.
Thank you, Bhaiya, for joining us. It was an amazing session, and the way you explained the questions was fun and easy, especially that girlfriend problem. We learned a lot. We all learned a lot. I hope everyone enjoyed the session. Before starting the quiz, I would like to announce the winner of the previous quiz. The winner of the previous quiz is Nakib Ahmed. So congratulations, Nakib. He won a T-shirt. So all of you, don't waste time. Attempt the quiz. The link for the quiz and the practice questions is given in the description box. The quiz will be live for 1.5 hours. So all the best, everyone, and stay tuned. And do watch all the next sessions we will be having on this same channel. Thank you.